Manual Mark 8 GTI long-term ownership reality. So this is a car that I've really wanted to speak about, and basically I'm going to go through everything around it. And if you're thinking about that manual Mark 8 GTI as a potential dream car, yeah, hopefully this video is basically just going to show you all the insights. I'm filming this at the start of November 2025. And basically, I'm going to go through everything, what the prices are for the manual Mark 8 GTIs. It's the only manual you can get from a Mark 8 Golf in the UK, essentially, and in Europe. It's the only one there, and they're very rare cars. There's not many of them. A lot of them came with DSG. A lot of people didn't spec them with the manual, but I feel the manual just gives that engagement, particularly on a base spec car. I've spent a lot of time driving Mark 8 GTIs on the channel, the DSG, and I think they're the ultimate long-term ownership kind of car. And now they're coming into a place for me where essentially it makes sense as a long-term proposition. That's the biggest part for me. You know, A, from a residual point of view, because the manual is quite rare. B, from like a fun point of view. Price point, they're really, really good, as we're going to go through, and everything around that. So yeah, let's get through into this video and yeah, start with basically what the car is all about. So back in 2021, when the Mark 8 Golf GTI came out in manual form, Auto Express actually did a review on the car. I really want to drive this car, basically. That's a big thing. And if you are a subscriber of the channel and you have a Mark 8 GTI manual, please feel free to reach out to me via email. I'll leave that sort of in the description, or via DM on Instagram. And I'd love to do a proper in-depth kind of review, get to know the owner, how they found it as well, because that's a big part of my channel. But let's just go through what they said about the car back in May 2021. And essentially the verdict is the manual Volkswagen Golf GTI is our pick of the regular hot Golf range. It's more affordable, feels just as quick as the DSG sibling, and given the lack of fireworks beneath the bonnet, the gearbox helps engage the GTI's driver just a degree more. Otherwise, it's business as usual for the all-rounder that is the Golf GTI, which means it's a fine hot hatch still. So some cool things about the GTI in a manual, as you can see, as I'll share with you a lot of the pictures here. This was a Volkswagen press car 4 years ago. Would have loved to try this one actually, in King's Red metallic. You've got that manual gearbox, and it just, for me, brings back the engagement in the car. And I really do want to try this car, and I'm tempted to reach out to a dealer who, you know, there's about 22 up for sale in the UK, but I also would love to share it with a subscriber actually, because the subscriber who's driven it for 40,000 miles is more useful for me to share with you. So that's what, and I speak about cars on the channel upwards of 60,000 pounds for a VW Golf, whether you get a Golf R or the new edition 50. These cars can have between just under 20,000 pounds to 30,000 pounds, and it makes that long. Oh, I mean, I'm just so excited sharing this video. I really, really am. But there's the manual gearbox. There you go. You can see it. Now, I've tried an R-Line. That's the most powerful Mark 8.5 manual that I tried, and I liked it. That was the 1.5. This is the 2-litre petrol, 242 brake horsepower. So it's before the Mark 8.5, which got a raise of 20 horsepower, more than that, to 265. So you get a little bit less power, but you get those free pedals. And yeah, obviously the pictures on the outside, it's just normal Golf affair. The big thing is that gearbox that you can see there. You get the original sort of dash, which I actually, you know, I'll be honest with you, I prefer the integration of the Mark 8 dash to the Mark 8.5. It doesn't stick up as much. I know there were potential gremlins and stuff with them, and not everyone was keen on the haptic buttons. But what I've heard is, from my sources, try to go for a newer model, so like 2022, 2023 Mark 8 GTI manual, because the early ones, there were some technical software glitches. Yeah, that's just an advice. But obviously, if you do get a 2021 plate version, you will get essentially a lower priced car. There's the manual, manual gearbox, 6-speed manual, reverse up to the top left. And actually, one thing to say as well, in these earlier GTIs, VW were very sort of interesting on their specifications. For example, on the seats, they didn't have the GTI lettering, but in newer, later ones, they did. So that's just something to consider. And what I will go through is I'm going to go through essentially a couple of cars which are for sale actually on Auto Trader right now as I'm filming this. I'm filming this on the 3rd of November 2025. and why I think they make such really good value today, basically. But let's just see a little bit more of what Auto Express kind of said, because they obviously spent time driving the car, and that's the main part. And how you, it's a shame you can't get a manual gearbox in the other models. I have a Mark 7 Golf R in a manual. I love it. It's brilliant. I've had it for 8 years. I've done 60,000 miles. You can't get that in a Golf R. You could get it in a Golf R in the US, but they don't do that anymore. Originally, in manual form, it started from £33,525, which is interesting to know, seeing the prices now. They've depreciated. A 3 or 4 year old car is a great time to get a car. That depreciation hit, and then you can have it for long term. I spoke to an owner, actually. It was quite nice, actually, to hear a comment from someone who also buys their cars outright. I've never financed a car. I own my cars outright. I always have done. I've had my car for 8 years, and I love it for that, because I want to have a car for a long term, and I want to look after it and enjoy it. And how it just involves you a little bit more. 242 horsepower. Now, my R with 296, it's arguably too much for a manual. I find myself hardly ever putting myself full throttle to the floor. It's brilliant fun, but you don't really need all that power. 242, more than enough. And the fact that the Mark 8 GTI weighs less than, say, like an R. I'll be honest, I am tempted by this car myself. I would be tempted to go from a Mark 7 Golf R manual to a Mark 8 GTI manual at the right price. Certainly at the right price. And I would obviously want to try it myself and share it on the channel. Again, reach out to me if you have one. I'd love to chat to you guys. It's a big part of this channel. It's a community channel at the end of the day for you all. And I certainly felt with the DSG when I drove that car, and I thought it was unbelievable. It was just it was too good. And somehow with the manual gearbox, you just get that extra layer of manual engagement. And as they kind of say here, make up for the extra layer of automation with its gearbox. There's kind of the picture. I love the symmetry of the exhaust as well. Love the colours. I would want to go for it in Oryx White. I'd want a mega colour, but I'd want it base spec. That's where I think I would go. There's also one I get to show you in Dolphin Grey. And then it says, while the manual still isn't objectively the finest transmission, that's the thing. I drove the R-Line. It's probably not going to be too much difference to that. Maybe a little bit more robust to build with the power. When it comes to the quality of the shift, it still has it's nice to have the option to yourself. Not as precise as a Type R. I've driven that. It's probably going to be the case, but then this is a lower price level as well, not as hardcore, better suspension. I think on these GTIs, when I've tried them on the 18-inch wheels, you don't need DCC. It can work. It just works. So that 2-litre 370 newton meters of torque, it's the 2-litre EA888 engine, not 66.4 seconds. But the weight-wise, these are about 100 kilos less than an R, maybe even 150 kilos less than an R. So take that into consideration. Suddenly the power to weight ratio, there's a lot less in between for it. If you prefer to access this extra interactive ability, then working the gearbox and letting the engine revs out adds another dimension. The motor doesn't have a real kick up high, but neither does it obviously run out of eagerness to reach the rev limiter. Now you can obviously max, there's no option. You could spec these with dynamic chassis control, you could get it with everything to improve the ride. But ultimately I feel you can just have this as a base spec car and have it forever. That's my sort of feelings. Economy wise, they say 38.2. I think it can do a lot better. I can get 38.2 out of mine on a decent, it's possible on an R, so it's going to be even more possible on a car of 60 horsepower less and of less weight. The chassis is really good on this. They certainly improved the driving dynamics of the 8. And that's why I really want to drive one. I am tempted to reach out to a dealer, but I want to see if a subscriber has one, which would be great to share a film with, and to potentially chat to the owner as well. So it says here as their kind of conclusion, it's a polished experience that keeps you just a little more remote than you'd ideally like, right up until the GTI begins to feel stretched. Then you feel its sense of limits. As a result, it's best to ease off a little from this point. The manual GTI is a car you drive at 80%, which is where it feels at its best. And if you don't even want to attack at this level, the Volkswagen feels as accommodatingly, dynamically as you'd want a regular family hatchback to be. And I'd love to be hunting down other cars in this. It's just a cool car. It's a pinnacle of the hot hatch, really. And then it says about it says the frustrating infotainment, which they do talk about. Fair. It's a fair point. But this was back in 2021, where they did improve things in the 2022, 2023 models. They made that infotainment better. And obviously, if you went for a Mark 8.5, but you can't get a Mark 8.5 in a manual, the infotainment has changed even more. And they say here 242 horsepower, 300 newton meters of torque, 2-litre 4-cylinder turbo, 6.4 seconds to 60, 155 miles an hour, economy 38.2, CO2 169 grams. It's under the tax bracket as well, which is a big thing. And there's the good picture of the little manual there. That's a big part of paying, only the £195 we do in the UK. So let's get on to this. And this was the car that I shared with you, kind of spinning round for sale. And that car is one of the more expensive ones, actually up to £32,000 because it's low miles, very highly specified. But what I wanted to share with you is the cars that are on for sale. There are only 23 manual Mark 8 Golf R's for sale, as opposed to nearly 300 DSG Mark 8s. That's a big thing. Price-wise is, currently, as of filming, they range from $18,950 for an extremely high mileage 90,000 mile one, although it's high spec and one owner. My sort of pinnacle is sort of like the £23,000 price point. That's for me. 40 odd thousand miles, that's a decent car to get. That's certainly where I would be looking as well for a car to own outright. That's me. Obviously, you can get cars on finance and they still work out really well. And the residuals of these, I feel, are going to be good because they're rare. If you want a manual Golf Mark 8, and a GTI as well, because I drove a black edition, a 2-litre, 200 horsepower, but it was the 4Motion black edition from Volkswagen. I put that on the channel, and that was brilliant. That had a manual. That's basically, a Golf R in a manual to a point with 200 horsepower. It's really exciting. And as you can see, they range up to sort of £32,000 if you go for sort of like a really high spec one. This is a really high spec car. And I love it. Dolphin grey metallic. It's got the really nice wheels as well, the 19-inch. Some of my favourite wheels, actually, these ones. Don't know what they are. I'm going to say they're called Brescias, but please let me know in the comments if I got that wrong. This car has insane options, like Napa leather. This has £9,000 worth of options. The Dolphin grey metallic, the Napa leather, the fact that it's a manual gearbox as well, it's just super cool. So subtle. You just wouldn't know. And yet it's just that amazingly fun car. I think the only thing that lets it down for me is that sort of like infotainment. Well, they've got so many pictures there. I didn't think they would have as many. There's the wheels that I think are really, really cool too. There's the Napa leather seats. Again, you can see there's no GTI badge, which is a shame. There's the manual gearbox though. Those Napa leather seats for that and the leather sort of interior bits that it comes with is £2,500 option, just to let you know. So that's why this car is up for £31,000, 20,000 miles. It's also got some extra mats in the boots. That would frustrate me that it's folded, but hey, that's just me. There's the manual. There's the looks of it. Really nice as well. I believe those seats might even be cooled as well. You got the heads-up display, the electric memory seats. It has all the parking assists on this one as well. It's got it all, bar probably the pan roof. And that car has a manual gearbox. It's 20,000 miles and it's up for £31,000. And from Hamptons of Surrey. Cool car. Now, the ones that I feel are one of the better ones are probably more the base spec ones. Now, this car is from a Volkswagen dealer, 48,000 miles, so it's higher, but not unreasonably high, £22,850. And it's just in white. That's it. And you've got the manual. There you go, nice and simple. You got the tartan seats as opposed to the Napa leather ones on the other car, and some nice pictures as well. Let's see if we can get a good pictures of the seats. Yeah, there you go. You see, it doesn't have the GTI badge because it's a 21 plate. It's interesting. I'd probably, like I said to you guys, I'd probably go for a 22, 23 plate car. That's just for me. And interestingly here, I believe they actually listed how much all these options were, which was quite incredible actually, because you just wouldn't expect that. And actually, if we go onto their website to see it, go to the cars which are for sale. It's got some nice cars here. Maybe I should pop down and share this car. Yeah, they gave some fun facts about the car, which I quite liked. They really went into depth about it, and this car had dynamic chassis control as well, which again is quite rare. It said, "Did you know £9,190 of original cost optional extras, and it was £41,420 for the new cost of this car, which I think puts it into the higher tax bracket actually because of that. Yeah, potentially, but really nice sort of blurb about it. Yeah, here you go. Here's the options. 19-inch Adelaide wheels, that's what they're called, £820. Dynamic chassis control, £875. Discover Pro navigation, £1,280. Dolphin Grey, £710. Heads-up display, £700. Panoramic sunroof, £1,000. Park assist, £215. Vienna leather for £2,475. Rear view camera, £330. Winter pack, £695. Although this car doesn't have a pan roof. So you can knock off the pan roof price of £1,000, and I think that'll bring it below the 40, well, nearly. So that part, it definitely doesn't have the pan roof. This car at 22,800, I think it's a good car. It's just a base spec car. It's from a VW main dealer as well, so you probably get a warranty with it. It will come with a warranty, I think, which is cool. Yeah, nice car. It's in white. It's basic. Then £23,920 for 46,000 miles. You can get one with those Adelaide wheels in the black, which is nice. And I think so, just a little bit of a higher spec car, but for just under £24,000 with a nice wheel option as well, in a nice paint with the manual gearbox. Yeah, you don't have to be spending the £50,000-60,000 on a Golf to have a good one. Yeah, it's up to you with the touch buttons. Yeah, to get used to and obviously to try it out yourself. But I just think as a long term, it can be that car that can do well because there's hardly any for sale as well. So residually, they are going to do well. The one caveat I would probably say with these, which I think they're brilliant, I really, really do, is a car that I just saw, the Golf R. You can get a 21 plate Golf R here for £27,000 with 38,000 miles. Very, very nice. Very, very tempting as well. Bigger paddles, more power, nearly 100 horsepower more. It's got 80 horsepower more. Nicer seats in my mind with the blue. I know you get the tartan with that, but DSG only. And obviously you're going to have slightly higher running costs as well with that car, but that's at 27,000, just to let you know. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. The Mark 8 GTI manual is a long-term a car, something that I'm so curious about. And if I haven't already shared it on the channel, which I hope to do with sort of like a point of view drive, yeah, feel free to reach out. And if you have one, just reach out in the comments. Let us know how you've kind of got on with it. It's a community channel and it's designed to kind of help you guys out. But yeah, Mark 8 GTI manual, last of its kind. It really, really is. And I feel it makes a fantastic car. Really, really do. And I'm curious to know if you feel so too.